I'm Newswatch Assistant Chief Meteorologist David Eckert. Here we are on Monday, the first day of spring, which occurred on March the 20th. It occurs at 5:24 p.m. But what exactly does this all mean besides we think of flowers and warm weather that will likely occur as we head into the next several months? Well, we actually have two springs to talk about, and the first one happened on Monday. That is what we call astronomical spring, and a lot of all this is tied to your astronomy class you likely took in school. So the equinox is actually what actually occurs to start the first day of astronomical spring. And all of this is based on the fact that the Earth's axis is tilted at 23.5 degrees. And that tilt is pivotal because that is what actually gives us the seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall, all courtesy of this tilt that happens constantly. In fact, here are the four seasons that we talk about. The summer solstice, of course, occurs in the June time period. Then we also have the autumnal equinox in the fall months, winter solstice, which is when the northern hemisphere is the furthest away from the sun in terms of this tilt. And then we have the vernal equinox, which is what happens between March 19th and March 21st. And this year it actually occurs on March 20th. And again, that means the Earth's axis is tilted neither towards nor away from the sun. And it also means equal amount of daylight and darkness at all latitudes, which we'll get back to here in just a second. So in terms of that 12 hours of daylight and darkness, it's true. This actually does occur. However, it's kind of on a technicality. So here are the sunrise and sunset times for March the 20th, first day of spring. And you'll notice they're 12 hours and 7 minutes apart. So what's going on here? Well, the sun is actually an orb or a disk. It's not just necessarily like putting a flashlight on something. And so because of that, or a laser, and because of that, the center of the sun will be exactly 12 hours at all latitudes, but this number does vary just a little bit because, again, of the horizon of the Earth and because of the fact that we still get daylight even when the center of the sun is below the horizon. In fact, 12 hours exactly occurred on March 16th, which is when we saw sunrise time of 7:35 and sunset time at 7:35. This does not happen again until we get into the fall months. Now, you may have heard this popular trend during an equinox, which is eggs can stand up on their center, can stand upright based on the fact that the gravitational pull is just right during an equinox. This is simply not true. In fact, to stand an egg upright, curvature of the actual egg itself and the center of the yolk being, or the yolk being in the exact center is much, much more important than actually the equinox itself. It's an urban legend that really does not happen across really the entire Earth. Now, we have two springs to talk about here. So the spring we're talking about today is what we call the astronomical spring. That happens between March the 20th and June the 20th. This is the one that most of you think of. But here in the weather office, we've already been celebrating spring. Meteorological spring occurs between March the 1st and May 31st. So why the difference between the two seasons? Well, for meteorology, we want to focus in on the three coldest months and the three warmest months. The three coldest months across the northern hemisphere: December, January, February. The three warmest months: June, July, and August, and the 3 months in between make autumn and spring. This is important because, as we noticed on that chart earlier, astronomical numbers actually vary just a little bit. This is based on the fact that the Earth has a slightly elliptical orbit. Same concept as why we have to do a leap year every once in a while, is to kind of put our calendars back into the correct frame. And that's exactly what happens with the seasons as well. Some seasons are just a little bit longer than other seasons depending on that elliptical orbit of the Earth. So bottom line, no matter how you celebrate spring, it is here, and it's a strong indication the winter is behind us, and we're now marching towards more daylight and the summer season. I'm Assistant Chief Meteorologist David Eckert for Channel 4, the local station.